Previously, when Callia was spending quality time with both her son, Shasha, and Shyman, she declared that Shyman was the father of Shasha, asking if he would take responsibility for Shasha and marry her. Hearing this, Shyman suddenly embraced Callia and happily declared that he loved her so much and was ready to become her partner and Shasha's father. Later, when Callia was playing with Shasha on the lawn, Kilkasia's fourth daughter and fifth master of the fairy forest, Nua, arrived and introduced herself, stating that she was Callia's fourth aunt. Suddenly, Nua attacked Callia with her ice sword, blocking the attacks with ease. Callia sarcastically asked what kind of aunt greeted her niece like this. Hearing this, Nua stated that she just wanted to test Callia's strength. But before the fight escalated, Callia's mother, Kia, arrived and slapped her sister, Nua. Rebuking her, Kia asked why she was bullying her daughter, Callia. Shocked, Nua wondered what the fake version of her dead sister was doing here. Amid this, Nua observed a strange mark on Kia's forehead, wondering if that mark belonged to the spirit Ammunition. So, let's dive into the parts 73 and 74 of the manhwa, The Baby Isn't Yours. Smirking, Nua asks why a fake Callia is wandering out of the forest. Pissed, Kia's spirit clarifies that she is still the same Kia. Although she doesn't remember the life she had before she died, she knows she's made from pieces of her soul. Feeling gloomy, she adds that while she doesn't have many memories, she knows Nua is her adorable sister. And Kia also knows that Nua was worried about her since she was alone in the forest, and she secretly came to play with her. Hearing this, Nua suddenly embraces Kia and expresses that she is indeed her sister and not an imposter. Patting Nua's back, Kia assures her that without a doubt, she is the real Kia. Kia then gazes at the silent Callia, who is standing at a distance. With a sinister smile, Kia warns Nua to stop messing with her daughter, Callia. The scene then transitions to the baby's room, where Kia falls in love with her grandson, Shasha, mentioning that he is so beautiful, just like her and her daughter Callia. As Nua states that Shasha smiled at her, the pissed Kia rebukes Nua, declaring that he was smiling at her. Enjoying her tea, Callia reflects that Kia was such a shy woman at first, but now she's showing her bubbly side when with her grandson. Meanwhile, Kia notices that Callia has been quiet from the start. Springing toward Callia, Kia caresses her forehead and asks if she's feeling sick. Blushing, Callia responds that she's fine but just feels a bit fatigued. Callia also reflects that she can't bring herself to call Kia her mom, as Kia actually looks much younger than her. Joining them, Nua declares that Callia is indeed Kia's daughter. She also adds that she's proud of Callia, as she's tough and brave despite being barely in her 20s. Hearing this, Callia thanks Nua but then asks why Nua attacked her earlier. Scratching her cheek, Nua clarifies that she was just testing her. Plus, she cares for Callia and wanted to check if she could protect herself. Annoyed, Kia asks if Nua doesn't love her because she thinks she's weak. Nua quickly reassures Kia, saying that while she may be physically weak, she's the bravest fairy of the fairy forest because she was the first to fall in love with a human. With a dejected expression, Kia admits she doesn't remember that part of her life. Sensing the tension, Nua changes the subject and asks if Kia was scared when she made her grand entrance, expecting to frighten her a little. Observing this, Callia wonders if all the women in the fairy family are aggressive. She reflects that if Kia had been born with a healthier body, she wouldn't have died without anyone knowing. Noticing Callia's gloominess, Kia asks what's wrong with her. Smiling, Callia says she's fine, to which Kia declares that she'll grow stronger if anyone ever bullies her daughter. Plus, now that she's a spirit bonded to Callia's bracelet, she can do a lot more things, like shape-shifting. When Callia asks what shape-shifting is, Kia explains that she can transform into things like a sword or an arrow. Nua jumps in, further explaining that Kia's spirit is linked to Callia's bracelet through the Amuncha spirit, an ancient spirit who helped the sun goddess defeat evil forces. Nervously, Callia wonders why her grandfather lent her such a rare bracelet, which can use both divinity and natural powers. Suddenly, Kia urges Callia to keep the bracelet with her all the time, as she doesn't mind giving it to her because Callia is her daughter. Kneeling before Callia, Nua mentions that she also wants to give her a present. Callia responds that she's already received too many gifts, but Nua insists, warning that Kia might kill her if she doesn't. As Kia suggests Callia accept the gift, Nua bites her finger, drawing a drop of blood, and presses it to Callia's forehead, declaring she's giving her power. Nua explains that whenever Callia calls out her name, an ice sword will appear before her. Caressing Callia's blonde hair, Nua smiles and tells her this is her gift. Feeling happy, Callia expresses how rich she feels after receiving so many gifts. With a serious expression, Nua reveals that she came because their father called her, but it's been a while since he left. According to their siblings, he went into the space between dimensions. But now that it's taking so long, something feels wrong. The scene then transitions to an old house, covered in leaves and trees, where King Kilkasia arrives and removes the leaves and trees without any significant effort. And as he renovates the house into a new one, he enters inside it. Touching the furniture, Kilkasia reflects that he never wanted to step foot inside this place again. Besides, he found this place shortly after he sensed Kia's death. But aside from the faint smell of her blood, there are no other clues. Not even a hint of the human man that Kia loved. After sealing the house, which is the last trace of he left to search for that man. And Kilkasia was certain that the man would know what led to Kia's death. Besides, Kilkasia had to know about the final moments of his precious daughter. However, even though he searched every single country, it was not easy to find that man. Kilkasia doesn't know whether that man killed her or if both of them had died together. Therefore, he created Kia with the combined power of his own and that of the fairy tree. Yet, Kia's spirit had no memory of the time she lived in that house because she was just a fragment of her soul. However, even though she had no memories, she knew that Callia was her daughter. And if Kilkasia had known about Callia earlier, she wouldn't have had to grow up all alone. Plus, there was something strange about her, namely the tangled colors of her soul. Moreover, Callia's son, Shasha, is also like her, especially Shasha, whose eye colors are more chaotic and diverse, a magical and unique soul that shines harmoniously. That is why Kilkasia visited Callia between dimensions to find out about these things. From here, the scene then transitions to the time when Kilkasia went to meet Callia as she gave birth to Shasha, where Shyman presents evidence before Kilkasia. When Kilkasia asks what the sounds are, Shyman explains that these are the sounds he collected while searching for Callia. Shyman also found out that someone is capturing fairies and doing terrible things to them. Observing it, Kilkasia states that he knows who is responsible. Interrupting, Hua asks what happened to her father's finger. Kilkasia explains that he made a deal with darkness and received this in return. As a dark entity appears before them, it showcases a picture of Prince Idios. Scrutinizing the image, Shyman reflects that the red hair looks familiar. With a predatory gaze, Shyman mentions that this is the prince of the Akan Empire, who once tried to take off Callia's hat without her permission. Later, as Kilkasia returns to the fairy forest, he reflects that Idios is somehow deeply connected to the demon, and something is happening in the outside world because of these people. Kilkasia commands his children to first look after their mother, who is going to wake up soon. Secondly, he instructs them to take care of Callia by visiting her periodically. Thirdly, they must protect the fairy forest in his absence, as it is everything they have. Lastly, they must ensure the elders don't find out about Callia and her son. Kilkasia's children assure him they will do everything they can to protect what they cherish. They also suggest their father to go with a calm mind. Amid this, Kilkasia whispers something serious in his son Kanini's ear, causing him to spring up with a disgusted look. As Kilkasia turns away, Kanini states that he understood his words. Patting Kanini's shoulder, Kilkasia wishes him good luck. The scene then transitions to the present time, somewhere in space, where Kilkasia arrives before three unknown celestial beings, and they are like gods between dimensions. Approaching, Kilkasia mentions that he came before them because he has some question. As the gods welcome Kilkasia, he asks them what the color of his granddaughter Callia's soul is. The first god states that Callia's soul color is very interesting. Plus, there was a child long ago, born among the elves, who had the same soul color. The second god explains that the child's soul was a soul of all beings, recalling something. The third god adds that the child's mother was a dragon, hiding a strange energy, and it felt like all the colors intertwined and became one. Further, the first god asks if Kilkasia's granddaughter recently gave birth to a child. Kilkasia affirms this, expressing that he's a beautiful child called Shasha. The first god instructs Kilkasia to keep an eye on his great-grandson, as there is something unusual about him. Blushing, Kilkasia wonders if it's because he is the most lovely and adorable child in the world. Besides, the green seal on his forehead is something Kilkasia had never seen in his 500 years of life. Moreover, his eyes are intelligent, unlike those of an ordinary newborn. Hence, Kilkasia indeed has to keep a closer watch on him. Kilkasia pleads with the gods to answer his two questions. First, if the gods know anything about the demons plotting something. Second, if they can tell him anything about his daughter's death. Answering his first question, the gods state that they already know about this, but since their powers are weak in the human world, Kilkasia has no choice but to collaborate with the great magician Shyman. Regarding his daughter's death, the gods suggest Kilkasia visit the place where she last lived, as that is the only place where he will find the answers to his questions. As we wrap up today's segment, thank you for being with us until the very end. I'll be sharing fresh videos of this manga and exciting new series every weekend. Your support is invaluable, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your encouragement keeps the channel thriving, and I appreciate it immensely. Until next time, take care and goodbye.